So we're going to give you the schedule for the first half of the year because that's pretty much set in stone. But we'll probably still play with the scheduling for the second part. Yep.
Is there an expectation for our mentors to be at?
Right. So it's not an expectation as much as we try very hard to schedule everybody so that the mentor could be there when the mentee is presenting. It's sometimes very difficult to coordinate everybody's schedule, but that's our goal. And so every student will be doing 3 presentations throughout the year. The first one will be, since you haven't done very much data collection or analysis yet, here's what my project is, here's what I'm thinking about. The second one is, well, I started doing this and here's what I'm finding. And the third one, which is towards the end of the year, was here's how it went. Okay. We have some suggestions for how to organize your WIPs. And what we'd really like you to do is follow the guidelines to think about how you would present this, but that's the way you would do any scientific talk. And those are in your handout.
Yep, number 8.
Yeah, item number 8 gives you a suggested outline. So everybody has a half an hour. You'll learn, if you don't already know this, that the shorter the presentation, the harder it is to do. Okay. And so what we want you to do is to present your work to a diverse group of people, because that's what you are. None of us is expert in the area that you are going to become expert in. So we're anxiously waiting to hear your explanation for what you're doing and why. You should leave some time for questions and hopefully some good interactions with the group. We're dividing you into 2 so that we can keep the groups relatively small and intimate and hopefully quite interactive. Now some of you also are not going to be here. We have a group of students, for instance, who are going abroad, primarily funded by the Doris Duke Foundation. We want them to be part of the group too, so we're going to be recording your WIP and posting it on YouTube.
Yep.
Right? Yep. And so the foreign students will have access to it, and hopefully we'll work it out so they can present also with you guys there, so you can interact with them at their sites in Uganda or wherever the case may be. So the WIPs are mandatory, really important. And we're trying something else new this year, again, based on the feedback from your predecessors, is that we're going to have some formal feedback to you as the presenter on your presentation skills. It's not punitive or anything, it's really meant to help you. We're going to ask one of the other students in the group to do that. I think you're familiar with that from your small groups and your various courses that you've done together. We're going to give them a little sheet with some things to guide their feedback for you, and then after the session, they'll give you the feedback from the way that you did your presentation. We're going to be spending a lot of time on presentation skills, writing abstracts, writing manuscripts, doing oral presentations, all the things that you really need to do to succeed in an academic career. Okay. Any questions about the WIPs? If there's some reason why you can't be at one of the WIPs, you need to let Kim know in advance if possible. Communications, that's item number 7. So one of the things that we're doing this year is changing the location of the WIPs depending on which rooms are available. We used to have them all in Millbury Union, but then we discovered that we're being charged $700 every time, and we thought we'd rather give you the money. So we're saving some money by not having our WIPs at Millbury Union, which means that we are moving them around to wherever we find the rooms. And so they will vary each time, and the way you will know is by going to that CLE link. So it's really important that you get used to going there regularly.
You'll also get weekly reminders. I mean, that's before the week.
Right, so read your weekly reminders too. There's a number of other media outlets that we have, Facebook, Twitter, so you should like us.
Should
You-
like us, follow us, and subscribe to us.
YouTube is going to be playing more of a role this year than it has in the past. We already talked about the whips. But at the end of the year, we're probably going to ask y'all to put together a YouTube video, which we'll post. We did it last year, and it was a lot of fun, and students really enjoyed it. Their family can see what they're doing. So,
Not like a music video, it'll be like your oral presentation of your work. I just wanted to limit expectations.
It's not a
Although we
poster
could do a
wrap.
music video.
yeah.
I like that idea.
We're
We'll be doing a
flexible.
music video.
Who here
That
can
one
sing?
need rap.
Because in the old days, we used to do a talent show at the annual meeting.
Joel's gonna sing at the end of the year.
There's a talent show.
If you do a really good job.
It's better than in previous years where they used to threaten me with having to ride a mechanical bull.
And sing at the same time, that's what we're gonna do.
Okay, so, again, we don't expect any major changes in your lives as far as what you're planning, but occasionally things happen and your plans may need to change or whatever. Life sometimes intervenes. If you need to make some change, some major change, it's very important that you communicate with us about that. You need to talk to me and Peter as the program leadership for CTRP. You need to talk to whoever the program leader is for your funding source, if it's not the TL1, because I'm the director of the TL1 program. But if you're Prof Path, for instance, you need to share that information with Alicia Fernandez. You need to talk to Amina. You need to talk to Kim.
Your mentor.
Yes, they should know too. Very important, because what you may not know is that we don't always get to communicate with each other. You may think that if you're telling one person, then everybody else is going to know, but it's not like that. So it's very important that you talk to all of us, that sort of thing. Okay, so as far as the requirements, we talked about the whips. Another one is that we need you to take responsibility for one or more, if you're interested, CTR Journal Club. Okay, so we're probably going to have 4 of them over the course of the year. We have the first one already scheduled for August.
29.
And we don't have volunteers yet to run that one, do we?
Who would like to volunteer to run the journal club in August?
Free cookies.
Well, more than 3 cookies.
Free cookies tonight for whoever signs up.
Okay. It's a fun thing, and basically the idea is it's an interprofessional, student-run journal club. We will find playmates for you from the other 3 schools. And the idea is to pick a research paper that addresses a broad question that would be of interest to people from all 4 schools here at UCSF. There's many things that fit that example. Hypertension, breast cancer, you name it. You know, everybody has an interest in those sorts of things. So we typically have them at around 5 in the evening, and then we serve a very nice dinner, and it's fun and educational. So we have volunteered you all to run them, because this year you actually had more time to do that sort of thing than your friends who are still very busy with their rotations of courses. So it is our expectation that you will sign up for at least one of these. And then the faculty is available to you as resources, you know, to help you. But, you know, you guys run the show, pick the paper, you decide how you're going to present it, et cetera, et cetera.
I just encourage all of you to look at the program guideline appendix 2. There is a really good guide for the expectations that lays out exactly what you're supposed to do and when, what the timeline is, when you decide what the articles are, when you volunteer, and then there's a bit that one of the professors in epidemiology and biostatistics wrote that sort of talks about what you should think about when you're running a journal club. So it's really helpful. Everybody should look at it.
And then if you're not running it, you still need to be there. So
Exactly.
attendance at the journal clubs are mandatory too. So we really don't have a lot of formal requirements. It's the whips, it's the journal clubs, it's the end of the year symposium that is sacrosanct. Okay, so you really need to plan to be at UCSF on the day of the student symposium, where all of you will be doing oral presentation to the campus on your work. Short presentation, just 10 minutes, makes it harder. Okay, but by the end of the year, you will be experts, and I'm constantly told by the faculty and by the dean who comes, or at least part of it, how incredibly polished and professional the students who lead this program are. You guys are going to be ace by the time you're done. Okay. So then, just a few list of to-do things. We've already talked about doing the HIPAA. We need your contact information. Then your mobile, your cell phone, a landline if you have one, your email address, and most important of all, your parents' email and address and phone. Okay, we need to be able to track you down for the next 10 years or so. Okay. This isn't us being the NSA. This is us following the federal government requirements of tracking our outcomes. And the way that we will know how you did is, where are you 5 or 6 or 7 years from now?
You'll have a contact sheet in that packet that we handed you, if you could fill that out tonight too.
So we need a permanent address and contact list for you, because we know that when you're done here, a lot of you are going to stay, but a lot of you are going to go somewhere else too. So we need to be able to contact you one way or the other. And then, what else?
Class registration?
Yes, so you're required to take design and clinical research and responsible conduct of research. You need to sign up for those. We will pay your tuition for those, but you need to sign up for them by August 1st. Peter is the course director.
June 28th, sorry, that's it.
Sorry, it's one line too low. June 28th. Peter is the director for DCR. And then the MD with Distinction Committee. So here is, again, a little bit of an intersection between what you're doing this year and what's going to happen as part of your pathways participation. So you're going to be reviewing your project and your progress throughout the year and into next year with your MD with Distinction Committee. This is a group of 3 people. Okay. By definition, one of them is your mentor. The second one is going to be from the faculty-wide committee that selected you for your applications. We will sort of self-assign somebody who's appropriate for your research topic. And then the third person is somebody who you need to come up with a name for after consultation with your mentor. Somebody who's familiar with the area but outside the research group, who can be like an objective person giving you feedback on the project. So you need to name two of the names for your MD with Distinction Committee by August 1st. We will give you the third name from the faculty committee. Okay, everybody clear on that? Yeah.
So our mentor can't choose 2 people, right? One has to be
Yes.
identified.
You and your mentor will
Okay.
pick the second person, we'll pick the third.
Okay.
And then how you interact with that committee will vary a little bit depending on you and the committee. The person who runs the MD with Distinction program is Catherine Park, and you will be hearing from her regarding her suggestions for how often you meet with your committee, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Another requirement of ours is that you fill out your evaluations. So we are going to be asking you just 3 times a year, it's not much of a burden, to tell us how we're doing, to tell us how your mentor is doing, to complain if you have any complaints, or laud us with roses if you want. But it's very important that you fill in the evaluation forms, which are on eValue, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you'll get emails from eValue, I think it says my name, so.
Along with that is a brief, again, we're not trying to overburden you, a brief progress report, like about a paragraph's worth for what's going well and what's not. That'll be part of that 3 times a year thing. 3 times a year you're going to be meeting with Peter and I as well. just to have an informal one-on-one. Just let us know how things are going. But I will emphasize that if you want to talk to us any time, you don't have to wait for your 3 times a year meeting. We're both available 24/7, if not more. By email, by phone, whatever. We're happy to sit down and talk with you. It's what we enjoy. Okay? So you have the progress reports, the evaluations. Your mentors are going to be asked to evaluate you 3 times a year too. So they're going to be filling out separate evaluations. I think we have a friend at okay, so just to summarize what we're expecting from you, we have the WIPs, we have the journal clubs, we have the evaluations, we have the end of the year meeting, we have a meeting with us a few times a year, and what am I missing?
The pups. You want to talk about the
Oh,
pups?
yes. So Peter, since you organized that, do you want to talk about that?
So this is actually a fun activity, the PUP program. It stands for Free Health Sciences Undergraduate Program. And these are eager undergraduates who are interested in learning about clinical research, so not just shadowing clinical experiences like what traditionally we've given experiences to pre-medical school or professional school students, but these are students who have been selected from primarily from the Bay Area, but also from other parts of the country in this rigorous process. So they've been finely tuned, and they'll be assigned to most of you on a one-to-one basis during the month of August primarily. So while you take design and clinical research, for those who are taking it, your pup will be with you, learning about research, but then you can interact with your pup in any fashion that you'd like.
They're not gophers.
They're not gophers, they don't get Starbucks. I mean, they can, but you can buy for them. But it's been a really good activity, and everybody has raved about it. The fun part will be if you maintain a relationship with them beyond August. So several of them have come back. Some of them have written papers and with you, the mentors, and you'll be hearing more about it. But it's primarily centered around design and clinical research.
So one other thing is, I mentioned in the first meeting that we do have a very important social event that will be coming up in August. We'll be getting an e-bite. That is for the pool party, August 4th.
At Joel's house.
Yeah.
At my house.
Palace. The Palace.
So you're welcome to bring your SOs, your children if you have any. And we will provide towels and food. So please come, because it's a great way to start gelling together as a group, and we'd really love to see you there. So I live on the peninsula. I'm sure you've all been there. And we can help organize transportation if you need some. But it will be warmer where I live than here in the city.
Where it's 55 degrees.
Where it's 55,
Right.
right. So we have just a few minutes left. Does anybody have any questions? No? Everything is crystal clear? Yeah.
I got some, this may be more for, just, when we got our package last time, one of the big things that we needed to do was, get our study list all squared away. I don't know if that is still something we have to do. I am not currently enrolled in any way that I know of in the Med 200 courses. I don't know if that's something we still need to do within the next 10 days or not.
I'm gonna email you about that in the next couple days.
Okay, cool.
No,
Never mind then.
not to avoid the question, but
No, that's all right.
I'll email you
Effectively
soon
did.
about it.
Yeah, totally fine. Cool.
If for any reason we need to switch presentation dates for what, is that something we can just switch to someone in the group, or how that would?
Yeah. Usually you contact somebody who is in your same group and just say, hey, can you switch? But just let me know. And obviously include the mentors so that they know, so that they're not in the wrong place at the
Yeah, it would be ideal, if you're going to switch, it would be ideal to switch with your mentor so that the two of you can be there when you're presenting. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Have like mentors already been awarded with these dates?
No,
Oh,
they will be tomorrow.
so I can, okay.
Yeah. As long as you don't email them tonight, they'll be in the know tomorrow. Yeah.
Yep.
So the main things that we attend for this are these whips and the journal clubs. I'm just making sure I got this straight. The first one that we attend is August 7th. Is that the first?
The first whip? Yes.
And there's no journal club before that.
Actually, the first whip will be an aquatic journal. Aquatic whip.
You're looking at this, right?
Yeah.
You guys all have the year at a glance. So this might change as the year goes on. It'll all be on the CLE. So I know this is very like old school to handy pieces of paper. You can look at them for a while, but if you ever need to look at them later, look on the CLE. These stay the same.
And there'll be one more session with that, or where you'll meet your pups in a very emotional and dramatic moment.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, we open the blinders and then you all meet each other. We introduce you via email before. Yeah.
Wanted to ask where we find the link to the CLE page that you guys were
It's on My Access. So if you guys have a My Access login, the CLE is one of them listed. And once you're there, you've already been linked as one of the participants. So you're enrolled already. Yeah. Sure.
Any other questions? You know where to find us if anything else comes up. So again, I'm thrilled that you're with us, and looking forward to a really great year together.
Thanks for coming.
And if I didn't get your picture yet, please see me before you leave. I do need your picture, and we need to collect the contact info in your signature sheet.
Do you want me to get those?
Yeah.